Welcome to Bridging the Gap to Connections, the talk show, where we begin by sharing your stories and spotlighting your shine. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bridging the Gap to Connections. This is Darla Williams here, and today I have Geeta. I'm going to have her pronounce her last name because I don't want to mess it up. And she is with GG Academy. Let me tell you a little bit about Geeta. Geeta is creating responsible leaders for tomorrow. Future responsible leader development requires a multidimensional approach that considers the development of abilities, knowledge, value, and attitude, as per the guidelines of UNICEF, UNESCO, and WHO. We at GG Academy enhance interpersonal skills, self-awareness, and stress coping abilities. She emphasizes communication, creativity, problem solving, and critical thinking, all of which contribute to an individual's total development. So, without any further ado, Geeta, can you please tell us your last name?
My name is Geeta Ravisankar, and I am from India. I basically belong from Kerala. I had traveled all around India for job, and as well as I had been with my husband. So he's on a touring job, so I keep traveling. So that's about me.
Perfect.
And I'm an emotional intelligence coach. And from my personal experience, I have learned, being an educator for more than 2 decades, I have learned that we never teach emotional intelligence in any of the schools. We do not teach people how to regulate your emotion, how to express it, the correct emotional language that you need to use, and the way you should make it as a tool for your growth. You are never taught in school. And that has led me to various adventures in my life, which taught me the importance of it. Now I am teaching it to others so that they do not have to reinvent the wheel. They can just go and face the world. I also believe that education is the purpose or the passport for the future. And for tomorrow belongs to those who are prepared for it today. So why not prepare them today so that they can face tomorrow with courage? They can face tomorrow with resilience. They can face tomorrow to know, and they are prepared, well prepared, knowing how to go about it to make that kill.
So, Geeta, how did you come into realizing this is what you needed to do?
Dada, when I say this, I started my career when I was doing my graduation. Before that itself, when I was in school, college also, I was teaching. Teaching had always been a hobby kind of thing I was very passionate about. I was teaching when I was in school itself. I was teaching when I was in college, with my graduation days or my post-graduation days. That was the backup thing that I always had. But truly speaking, officially, my first job was with telecom. When pagers came into the market, I was the first one to enroll for that, and I got a job with Easy Call Pagers. I started my career there. But over the period of time, I worked with pagers, I worked with mobiles, but that wasn't interesting to me. And as my husband kept shifting his job and positions to various parts of India, I had been traveling along with him. I used to change jobs whenever he went and take up a new job when he went. And I at last ventured into education. And I realized this is the space I really belong. All the while I had been teaching in the background, as my passion led me to. But it was then I realized that it is something which I enjoy from the core of my heart, being that being with kids, being with women gave me more joy than doing anything else. And so education came like an inborn talent to me. I get associated with students and teachers very well. When I ventured into education, I had been in this field for more than 2 decades, teaching teachers and students both. And during this process, and during my personal journey with life as well, I realized the importance of emotional intelligence. We never teach it in schools. Why don't teachers and students get together well? The answer lies in emotional intelligence. We never realize the importance of it in schools and colleges. If we could have enhanced it, or we could have helped our students and teachers get along with this thing in a mindful manner, being self-aware of themselves, I think we could have built something which could have been on a different level altogether. The building process of a student, be it his physical, be it his mental or emotional skills, starts in school, apart from the home. Yes, there was a time when home was the basic school, but in today's world, home is where the child spends the least amount of time. Most of the time he spends or she spends in home goes in sleeping. Most of the aware period of his time, of his lifetime, during the day, he is in school or college. So the building process actually should start in there. And the process that should start there was never done. Hence, when they join the workforce, they do not know about self-regulation, emotional regulation. They do not know how to use the correct words for emotional expression. They are not self-aware. Their communication is poor. They haven't healed themselves. They do not know how to heal themselves. There are so many issues they carry forward with them. Hence, at the first instance of stress, they break down. They do not know what to do with their stress or any challenge life throws at them. They are not aware how to handle it. So they go into depression. The world today is facing three desperate things. One is depression, the second is loneliness, and the third is not being aware of their own self. Three things, if they are well attuned to, could lead them to success. And I am in a process of helping them do the exactly finding themselves, reuniting with themselves, working on themselves to get to their best version without wasting time as I did, because I got this knowledge when I was in the late 40s or 50s. I am in the 50s. So in the late 40s only, this awareness came to me through my life skill learning, through my certifications and everything after my life experiences. So I do not want you all to go through that process, long process. I want you to get there early. And I am going to give you the tools and the ways to reach there approximately less than a year, or maximum to a year it will take you to reach that extent where I want you to take Q2. So this is my journey and this is what I am all about.
Wow. What I love right there, Geeta, is that you're really opening the eyes to others to understand the importance of one, self-identification. Without self-identification, how are they going to begin to even recognize the emotions that are going on and begin to develop the intelligence of going through and recognizing and regulating themselves through their system? So do you use a lot of energy work in your line of work?
There is a lot of things that goes into it. It starts with your breath. You need to be aware of your breath. Breath work is very important. One. Then you go into a little bit of what you say as pranaya, or it's a mode of self-awareness with breath work that you do. You're aware of the air entering your body, filling it with energy, fueling you to live a life that you wish to, and then you release it with all the negativities that you have in your body. You're releasing it with that. So you, in that process, you actually are releasing what you do not want and taking it what you want. That process starts with your breath. Everything, our life starts with our first breath. So everything depends on that one thing which is called breath. We are never aware because God knew that we are so self-possessed, we might forget even to breathe. Even if we had greed or something else come our way, He made it an auto response kind of thing. So we are not aware of our breathing. It happens without our knowledge. But once we are aware of our breath, then the world that we see is a different space altogether. Once we start focusing on the breath, everything changes within you. And as the world within you changes, your outer world is definitely going to change. First, I start with that, and then it is into meditation so that you realign with your seven chakras. You realign with your inner self so that you know what exactly you want, what you are from within, what is your core. Once you align with that, then I take you to the process of aligning you with your purpose. Now, what is your purpose in the world? What do you want from the world? What are you here for? Once you're aware of that, then I take you to the process of goal setting. So how you set your goals? How do you reach? Like if I have to take a driving license, there is a process to it. You have to first register yourself for taking a license. Then you will have to find a tutor or a teacher who will teach you how to drive. Then you will have to find time to go for that classes. Then after taking time, you'll also have to keep in your mind that some days it could be rainy or some days it could not work out the way you want. So you need to have that extra space for yourself. All things needs to be worked out. Then you go and enroll. When you enroll, you are preparing yourself to undergo that process of learning. When you are undergoing that process of learning, you might get struck. Then you might get hit also at times. So you will have to process that with yourself and then go in for the test. In the first attempt, you might clear it or you might not clear it. Be prepared for that. And then once you clear it, you know your vehicle is your tool to take you to the place where you want. The same thing applies for goal setting. You set your goal in a very precise manner that and taking the time and the energy that will take you there. In this process, you also work with energy because without that you cannot move. So energy works comes in, and then you have to process the entire thing together so that you are driven to your purpose. Your communication is good, your purpose is set, your goals are laid down, and then you're working towards it. Last but not the least, everything is a process. Nothing stops. As your breath keeps going in and out in a regular process, every process is a chain reaction. You should be prepared to work day in, day out. It's not a process that will end in 10 days. It is not a process that will end in a year or two. It's a process that once you start, you keep doing it over and over again so that there is a consistency in it and you keep flowing like a river to your goals and to your purpose.
I love what you're saying there with the fact that here we are, you're going through the motions. You're literally helping people to go from phase to phase within their life. And you're helping them to understand the importance that, what I heard there was that once you begin your process is always going to continue. You're going to begin learning a new level of yourself. Every time you get to one space, you're going to learn a new level and you're going to continue to grow. You're going to continue to develop and you're going to continue to expand who you are. I love that you just really put that together for people to understand that there is that process. And one of the things I love to teach when I'm talking to others is that we have to fall in love with that process. If we don't fall in
Yes.
love with that process, we're not going to be connected to ourselves, let alone anyone else. So, if somebody reaches out to you today, Gigi, with Gigi Academy, so here they come, they're like, "Hey, how do I find you first? Where is anybody who's listening in? How can they find you?"
First, I have a website which is called nowggs.in. Anybody can visit that and get to me through that contact. Second is my LinkedIn profile with the name Geeta Ravisankar. You can find me there. All my details are also there. LinkedIn actually supports you as they provide you as a web page. Every detail about me is available on in LinkedIn, so you can find me through there. Apart from that, I'm also on YouTube, I'm also on Insta and Threads, where you can find me and my teachings going on a regular basis. I post almost every alternative day on Insta. It comes about twice a week on YouTube. I am there twice a week on LinkedIn as well. So anybody who wants to contact me can contact me on LinkedIn or come visit my website, which is called nowggs.in.
So I think I was going through some of your information and overlooking those websites and those links and stuff, and I believe I stumbled into a couple books. Can you tell us a little bit about your books and what they're about?
Okay. Books was a dream of mine when I was 20. And my mother had always told me to write it, but I had never done it. The fact is, I never did it because I was in the process of self-finding. I was into my job, into the corporate world. I was doing well, so I never responded to those kind of things. I'm more on the field of like logic application. I want to find the logic behind whatever I do. So I am more a logically inclined person. So I kept doing one job after the other. And then my kid happened, my marriage, my kid, and I was fully engrossed with that. I didn't have time. Come November 2022, my mother was diagnosed with brain tumor, brain cancer on 2nd November 2022, 2 days before my birthday. And I flew down to Kochi to meet her. I was with her. And I was there with her for 20, on the 25th, she left us. I was there with her till that point of time. And during that time, something hit me hard was that she didn't have too many wishes or hopes. One of this was that I realized what I am meant to do. And I had never paid heed to that. Although I was in the space of education, I had never paid heed to that. And something that hit me hard was that I need to do something for that. One more information that I had never shared anywhere is that my mother had always been a giver. Everybody in the family she had brought home, educated, found them jobs, and positioned them well in their life. And when she left, then also she became a giver. She dedicated her physical remains for cancer research. So that was what hit me very hard. And I wanted to, and she never wanted it published or propagated in that way. She was someone who did it, but never wanted anyone to know about it. And when she went, I'm a Hindu, so we have a few rituals that needs to follow. And she was never into that. She believed in giving in wholeheartedly, nothing like propagating or being vocal about it. She never said she did this and that. She always gave. But I felt there's more to it. Whatever she gave, whatever sacrifices she made, is not for others for recommendations or acknowledgement, but that needs to be registered somewhere. I wanted it to get registered somewhere. So on her first anniversary, that is on November 25th, 2023, I released my first book, which is called Power Your Wings. It speaks about my journey. It has my story in it, a part of it, somewhere glimpses about my life, wherein I teach people how I discovered myself, how I learned about myself. It is about learning how you do it about yourself in the simplest English with exercises at the end of each chapter so that you do not have to go for elaborate, rich retreats or webinars and training programs. You can do it yourself.
Mhm.
My book gives you the tool and the exercises which you can do yourself in the comfort of your home. You can read one chapter, do the exercise, go for the next chapter, do the exercise. In that process, you are self realizing yourself. At the end of that first book, you will know your purpose in life. You will know where you need to go. You will know what's bagging you down, what's blocking you, what's bugging you. You will also realize where you lack. And it will tell you appropriately where you lack in very clear words, not by someone else, but by yourself. You will realize it. Then came my second book the same year, December 25th, 2023. And this book is about power your wings. Once you have found yourself, you have tested your wings, now you need to know how to power your wings. So you need to work on your communication skills. You need to work on your networking skills. You need to build in discipline. You need to build in consistency. This big book speaks about the same content. And here also, it's you will find stories of my mentees and myself. You will also find exercises to do which will bring you to where you need to go. And this is done in the comfort of your room or your house, a space where you're very comfortable. You need not have to share with anyone. You need not have to acclaim or proclaim to anybody. It's in completely at the comfort level of yours. I have done it myself. The same process with which I underwent, I am providing it to you so that you do not have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to flow through it and reach it within a year. It also speaks about how to network on LinkedIn or on social media. It also tells about how to take yourself forward. If you're an entrepreneur, you're a working professional, you are a student, you are a housewife, whatever you want to do, it gives you. It is actually my books are actually a bridge which will take you from who you are today to your best self tomorrow. So that is why I say I make and I build better leaders for tomorrow. Because the space from where I operate is called empathy. Empathy, it is called being empathetic to everyone. It comes from a space of love. It comes from a space of care that my mother had a legacy about, and I carry forward that legacy forward.
That is so amazing that you have brought to life, in a format where other people can begin developing themselves based out of something that you learned from your mother and is able to now transfer it so that people can begin, kindness, authenticity, pure love is so important. And with those, the world can communicate. With those, it doesn't matter where we're at. A gentle smile can literally transform the space when we connect. The nice part is what you're doing is you're teaching people to begin training not only themselves, but others. When we learn something, I want to ask you if they come through your training, how long before somebody comes through your training can they begin helping others?
From a week after that, you will realize that your inner world is your outer world. So you start helping, being kind, caring about all whom you associate and relate with. And the space that you are in, whichever place you be, you begin there, not waiting for a period or time when you evolve and then start. No, it starts the moment you are in the program. My programs run for about 3 months, weekly twice or weekly once, depending upon the purpose on which we are working. and deciding on the time available for both of us. It starts from one-to-one counseling, and then it starts to group also. We do corporate training as well. So one-to-one is also there. Corporate trainings are also there. Webinars online is also there. So you decide on which program you want to enroll and how you want to go forward with. But the programs, if it is a webinar, it will go from 1 day to 3-4 days. It could be weekly or monthly as well. If it is a one-to-one session, it absolutely depends on the comfort level of my client. It could be weekly once, weekly twice. It could range from 1 month to 3 months or even over a year, depending on how deep you are into that process and how deeply you want to realign yourself with. And it also depends on your present situation. Everybody's situation, everybody's story is different. And I would love to take you from where you are, not negotiating on the quality, but on the, I would love to do it in quality. I do not believe in quantity. I do not believe in doing, I never say I would like to propagate my ideas to about 1,000 people or want to transform 1,000 lives. I don't say that, because I believe if I can transform one life, just one life, to the best, I have done my purpose. And thanks to my purpose, or thanks to my alignment with myself and to my God, I had been able to touch about more than 3-4 thousand people. But now seeing them propagate the same things with love and care to others is what keeps me going forward. And I would love to, I am not saying today also, I would love to transform lives of thousands of people. I'm still working on one person at a time. I believe if I can transform one life, one person can be touched, and their life begins to take shape the way they want to be, in the best way they want it, then my purpose is done.
Wow. Being able to be so tuned in to each individual as they are before you, that is real. That's where real transformation begins. So if someone is reaching out to you and do you work with those who are in this middle of trauma, or those who have already come through it? Like, do you do clinical side, or are you?
I do not.
Sick?
I'm sorry. I do not deal with the clinical side, but we have people who can do it also if you need to. But we want you to go through the clinical process. If you have any issues that need clinical advice and clinical process to be done, please go through that first. The healing doesn't end there. It actually starts there. So once your clinical process is done, you can contact us. Then we will take over your healing process so that you're completely out of your trauma, your pain, and you can achieve and be aligned with your purpose and goals in life with the best mental health, emotional health that you aspire for.
Yes, that is so beneficial for everyone to understand that when there is one, because I'm so about mental health and trauma repair and things like that in my world, and working with other people like Geeta and others around the world right now, I have to tell you, there's nothing wrong with getting help. If you were having chest pains, you would run to the emergency room and you would be getting help immediately. Our mental health is just as important. And negating it by saying, oh, I'm okay, is doing more damage. So make sure, if you need clinical, if you need to go see the doctor, go see the doctor. If you need just someone that can be a holistic practitioner, get to the practitioner, because you're going to continue to evolve every day. I love what you are doing, Geeta. So I want to ask you, because we're getting close to the end here, I want to ask you if you could impart a piece of who you are and what you do into the world around you, what would you like to say to everyone?
I stand as a compassionate guide who will empower you emotionally, make you courageous. And I work with men, I don't work with men, I work with women and young adults to break free from your limiting beliefs, from your people-pleasing activities, from your breaking free from your negative thoughts, the little chirpy thing that keeps on your head, saying, no, please don't do this, please don't do that, please don't, what will people say? I've stopped that, I work on that, your little talk that goes in their head. And then I let you reclaim your voice, setting proper boundaries. I help you live with purpose and balance, both in your profession and in your relationship. Because I believe you're not complete if you're professionally well doing, but if your relationships are all in shatters, I don't believe you're happy. There has to be a balance between your relationships and your work. When both work together, then I believe you are in the highest self of well-being. So for work to happen at that scale, there is something called educating yourself. That is a continuous process and you need to work. Even I work on myself even today. I keep on working. I know I am a work in progress. No one living has done all the education they need. We are all work in progress, and I am really one of them who is a work in progress. And those who are a work in progress, I would love them to take them along so that they don't have to go through the entire process. They can make it quick and easy for them.
Wow, yes, exactly. Gosh, you packed that up so well and so beautifully. And I love the fact that you help so many different individuals around the world and that what you're doing is really transforming. Everybody, I want you guys to hear what she's talking about. She's talking about emotional intelligence, meaning that you can begin learning how to process, regulate, and actually begin living a life without having to deal with the outbursts, without having to react, but respond. Learning that it isn't the coffee, being knocked out of the cup by whatever, but that coffee just spilled. When we're dealing with life in itself, we can personally, depending on how we were raised, what we're going through and why we're going through it, we can truly get caught up in our story. And what she's doing is helping you to unpack those stories. So I have a question. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit of like a short breath work, how we could tune into ourselves better if we feel out of sorts?
If you feel that you are into anxiety, because I believe life is throwing to you difficulties with managing your stress, challenges with your relationships, impulsive decisions that we always make, then the emotional reactivity rather than response that we do. The moment anything happens, we are more on the reactive side than on the response side. Then we are limited, we have a very limited awareness about our own self. That leads to major problems in our life. Then the troubles with our effective communication. We never communicate in whole sentences. The generation Z and the Alpha, they never communicated proper, complete sentences. They are going in for shorter versions. The more shorter your versions go, the more inappropriate your communication is going to be. It is always better to go for the long form of communication because you are communicating better and appropriately. So for that to happen, to bring in self-awareness, self-regulation, emotional regulation, empathy toward yourself, everything starts with yourself. Love yourself, be empathetic about yourself, do self-care, self-love, then it starts to go to others. Until and unless you start with yourself, you cannot work with anybody else. It doesn't work that way. Universe doesn't work that way. So everything starts with us, with you, with each individual, from within to outside, never from outside to inside. So everything starts inside. So first, what would I say for a person going through anxiety is breathe, be focused just on your breath. Just breathe, breathe, just breathe. If you are very very much onto anxiety and tapping your feet and feeling like cranky, then I would advise you slow down. Sit in a place where nobody is around. Or if you are in a you are not in a personal space, you are in a public space, go to the loo or go to the restroom. Just enter a restroom, shut yourself out there. Stay there. Stay there for 5-10 minutes. Don't move. Don't move. Sit there. Then you can do is you can count your fingers. You can, all the tools is on your body itself. Count your fingers, count your toe fingers, count again. You can count 5 times. That will lower your BP. That is your blood pressure. That will bring you to the reality, to the present. And then breathe slowly. Once you take inside the breath, take it very slow. Your tummy should come out when you breathe, not your chest. Your tummy should be coming out when you breathe properly. So when you breathe in, hold it for 5 seconds, then release it slowly, slowly, very slowly. And when you're doing your breath work, keep your foot planted on the ground very well. You're grounding yourself. So keep your foot down, grounding yourself. Take in one breath at a time, holding it for 5 seconds and then releasing it slowly. Another technique is you can remember people who love you the most, like your mother, your brother, your best friend, your wife, your kid, person who brings out the best in you. Think of that one person. See what you have done with them. Whatever activities you did with them, went for a picnic, went for a program, or went for an opera, something you have done with them, recollect those memories. I have given you 3 activities. One is counting your toes and counting your fingers. The second is breath work, where you are grounding yourself with your breath. The third is you recollect and reconnect with the memories that were best for you, which gave you joy, which brought out the best out of you. Reconnect with any of these 3 activities and you will see that the anxiety you were in is gone. But it will take time. It doesn't happen in a second. You will have to give time to yourself. Give time to yourself so that you will bring out the best version of yourself for others. So connect with yourself in this way. I think, Dana, I gave you approximately 3 activities to connect with yourself and bring your anxiety level down. Once your anxiety is down, go out and then communicate. I said communicate. That means you're putting in appropriate words in proper sentences and communicating what hurt you and then asking what led to it and finding a solution to it rather than thinking what happened and why it happened. It is not about what happened. It is about what next to be done. I am more of a solution-oriented person, not a problem-oriented person. So I will only teach you to find solutions. Never go back to the problem. You only visit the problem to find a solution to it, not to aggravate it, not to escalate it.
That is so informative. And thank you for giving us a couple more techniques than, because I just said about breath work and something in that, because I knew you did breath work. However, being able to come into the fine tuning of ourselves and knowing who we are, being able to literally tune in and then find something for ourselves. I love how you talked about that, because when you're literally touching your fingers, when you are you're tuning into your physical body.
Yes.
And then here we are, we're breathing into ourselves. We're giving ourselves, what is breath? Breath is life. We're giving ourselves life again.
Yes.
And then you're saying, make a recognition to something that gives you the feeling of joy and love. And when you feel loved, you feel seen. So ultimately, you're helping people to feel heard, seen, and truly understood. What you do is such a gift. Geeta, this has been an absolute pleasure to literally walk out into this show with you and be able to present you to others. It has been a gift. You are a gift to the world. So thank you so much. And everybody listening to the episode, I want you to know her links are going to be in the description. I'm going to drop her books down there. So if you need to get a book and actually begin working on things, if you're not comfortable going and reaching out, start digging in within it for yourself. There's always a way. And as long as you choose to move forward, you can find that way. This is Darla Williams with Bridging the Gap to Connections. Until next episode, bye for now.
Thank you.